Hello, good evening. Good evening. You are welcome to Leadership Mastery. Um, Before we even start, I would like to see your emoji. How excited are you? What's going on with you? How was your day? And then we are going to straight away go into our conversation. We are talking leadership mastery. It is important that every individual gets to understand whatever it is that is going on in your life, whether you are a mother, you're a sister, whatever department you're working in, I want you to know there is some level of leadership that you are expressing. Now we want to take it deeper and bring it in a space where we can appreciate more our leadership. And so let's begin with our slides this evening as we are going just to run together talking about leadership mastery. Let me have the slide so we can continue having conversation. Thank you so much. So leadership mastery has to do with becoming the leader that others want to follow. Becoming that leader that others want to follow. That is how we are going to have this conversation. Let's move. When it comes to leadership that others have to follow, it is important, for you to understand that beyond position or power, it is important to know that leadership has to do with influence, it has to do with impact and integrity. That is leadership mastery. Leadership mastery is beyond your position, is beyond you being called boss, it is beyond you being called father. There is more that is in leadership. And mastery means consistently leading yourself first and foremost. When you learn to lead self first and foremost, it becomes easier to lead others. Before you lead others, you must first and foremost master yourself. It is in this, mastery that will be able to help you to have an understanding that mastering self is really what matters. Let's move. Now, in self leadership, it is important for you to know you can't lead others effectively if you can't lead yourself. And in leading self, there are several things that we are going to talk about. This includes discipline. It includes emotional intelligence, values. What is it that governs your life? What is it that governs your life? What is it that you look at, and when it is you who is present in that particular instance, people will be able to know that if this person is there, this is how this thing is going to go. It includes you first and foremost disciplining yourself. Questions that you may want to ask yourself: what would you do when you were left alone? Would you actually follow you? If you were given an opportunity, would you actually follow you in that instance to bring others, to bring that understanding about your life? What is it that you can do about yourself? Can you follow you? Okay. Can you follow you? If left alone, would you lead you? If you were really left alone, would you lead you? That is leadership, because if your life is based on you only doing things because somebody is there, your boss is there, that is the only time you can go for work early because your boss is watching, or you've got some deadlines to meet, and so on and so forth, you are not leading self. And because you're not leading self, it is important for you to know that it then becomes difficult for others to follow you. Let's move. Let's quickly delve into vision and purpose concerning leadership. Vision and purpose. Now, Great leaders carry clear vision and inspire others to pursue it. That is great leadership. You've got to have a vision. You've got to first and foremost find your purpose of existence here on earth. What are you existing for? What were you born to do here on earth? Vision must be compelling, communicated, and consistently lived. Because when you set out the reason for your being, when you set out the purpose here on earth, it then becomes easy for other people to follow. But there has to be some level of consistency, because if you are not consistent and you're not communicating, with your subordinates, you're not compelled to live by the rules of your vision, other people cannot follow. What is your personal leadership mission statement? What is it that you'll be following? What is it that you have written down that governs your life? As a leader, it is important for you to have this understanding that you have to ensure that whatever it is that you believe in, whatever it is that you want to accomplish here on earth, it first starts with you. So, leadership is not about other people applauding you. Leadership is about the time you are alone. Are you able to applaud you? Are you able to pat yourself on the shoulder? Are you able to do what is right even when you are alone? Let's move and talk about character over charisma. Because when it comes to leadership, it is important for you to have this understanding about your character. Let's move and talk about character and charisma. Because in leadership, character and charisma matters even more. So when you look at point one, you see here that mastery is rooted in who you are, not just how you appear. In who you are, not just how you appear. Integrity, humility, courage, and accountability are non negotiable for you as a leader. They are non negotiable. It is not even a conversation. When we are talking about integrity, courage, and accountability, it is something that you cannot actually run away from, because that is what will cause others to follow you. You must be a standard. It's not about just what you say, it is about your life holistically. Long term, okay, long term influence is built on trust, not talent alone. So you can be very talented and you can have people around your life. But let me tell you something, talent is not going to sustain your leadership. Talent won't sustain your leadership. You must live beyond your tombstone. I love this. When you build your life on purpose and you follow through your character, you are, a woman and man of integrity. I want you to know that your legacy, the words that you said, the life that you led, will outlive your tombstone. That is leadership. Leadership is not just about people celebrating you when you are alive. Leadership is about what people will say, even when you are dead, when you are not there. Are principles going to be followed? Are things that you have set in motion going to be followed? Will other people see something to really follow through if you were to die today? Do I have an audience? It is important that we follow through these points and begin to see yourself where you are lagging behind. Your life must be a signpost to greatness. In other words, how you live your life. Other people must see you as a signpost. Other people must see you as a standard, not just by what you do, not just by what you are saying. It's a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. A signpost, when it is showing that this is the arrow going to town, as long as town is on that side, that signpost will never change. So there is nothing that should shift your greatness or shift your honesty, shift your life because everybody else is doing certain things. Then you feel you are compelled to also start mixing your values. You are a signpost. As a leader, you are a signpost of greatness. You are a signpost of greatness. It is time for you to know that the moment success becomes significance, you move from money, you move from just succeeding by how much you have in the account, and you've now become significant. That is when leadership begins to count. These 6 points help you to define if really your life as a leader will outlive you. Leadership is not when you are just around. You need to leave tattoos, you need to leave marks of leadership for other people to follow through. Very important. Very, very important. I want us to move now, and I want us to talk about communication that connects. Communication that connects as a leader. Communication that connects. That is what we are going to talk about. Now, communication that connects has to do with great leaders are great communicators. Like I said in the previous slides, communication is not just about what you are saying. You need to also pay attention to your physiology, your tonality, your lifestyle, the voice itself as you are speaking. What are you communicating? What are you telling people? Because this vision that you carry, people must know. I was asking somebody, like when I checked through your social media platforms, I don't know who you are. I can't follow you because I'm following who? I'm following what? What is it that you really stand for? You know, the moment you mention my name, you know you are talking marriage. You know you are taking deliverance. You know you are talking lifting people's lives, branding people's lives, helping people to step up to their greatness, rescuing their destinies. That is leadership. Leadership brings you into becoming a thought leader where your voice and what you talk about is consistent. You need to master active listening, clear direction, and empathy in your conversations. Because being empathetic is what we would draw people to want to have a conversation with you. You need to speak to the heart, not just the mind of somebody. You need to walk the talk. Your life must speak beyond what you are saying. How you lead your life must speak louder. How you lead your life must bring in more information in people's lives. That is about communication. Connect with your followers. Let's move to leading through influence. You've got to lead through influence and not control. Through influence and not control. Now, influence is earned through respect, consistency, and servant leadership. That is how influence is earned. It is not just about what you're talking about. It is not just about what you are saying. There's need for you to be consistent in your leadership. You cannot say something else today and tomorrow you are standing on another thing. You've got to influence your audience. You've got to influence those people that are looking up to you. You've got to influence them. And that respect that is earned and that influence that is earned is tattooed in their lives. They always refer to your leadership when they are thinking up to do something, when they want to maybe implement something. They always think about what will my leader think. When they want to do something wrong, they will think about you as a leader. That is leading with influence. Do I have an audience? If you are here, say yes, yes. Now, true mastery avoids manipulation, chooses empowerment instead. manipulating people so they can follow you, pretending to be who you are not. Imposter syndrome causes people to know that you are just pretending, you are not actually real. That is why true mastery avoids manipulation. You are not going to manipulate people because you've got to earn their respect. Leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge, says Simon Sinek. How do you take care of those that are in charge? It is not about you being in charge. That is true leadership. That is where I thrive in leadership personally. I love giving other people an opportunity. I love getting my mentees to lead. I love them even when they can make a mistake. Better they make a mistake than me holding on. Yes, there are certain things I can do better, but leadership is about you training the people who can take on the mantles. Leadership is about setting up systems so that you can influence people to plug and play in those systems. Leadership is about deployment. After you've trained them, do not hold on to people. Leadership is about franchising. Whatever it is that you're doing, you want other people to do those things. Whatever it is that you are doing, you want other people to emulate what you're doing. That is leadership. The next thing that I want us to go to is resilience and adaptability. Crisis reveals real leaders. Crisis reveals real leaders. So now, when there is resilience in what you are doing and you are able to be adaptable, adaptability is not weakness. Adaptability is what makes you to lead. Because when the Bible says you need to be like a serpent, but harmless, like a dove. What the Lord there was talking about, the issue of a serpent, is adaptability. You find that there will be a small hole and a big snake can enter into that small hole because of adaptability. Resilience, on the other side, is where you are committed, consistent to what is happening and what is going on, and you are able to bring about, the best out of a pressured moment. When there's a crisis, that is when we will see leadership. Because when there's a crisis, you didn't plan for it. That's why it's called a crisis. And therefore, what you will come out from that crisis is what makes us to know if you are really a good leader. Now, stay anchored under pressure. To be flexible but not flaky. To be flexible but not weak. That is real leadership. Real leadership is when you know what it means when there is pressure, how you become flexible, but do not be a weak leader to cause every other person to, climb on you, to talk about your boss. And, because there's something that is happening. Leadership is tested when there's a situation. Are you going to fall in the trap of gossip? Are you going to fall in the trap of complaining? That is real leadership. You need to learn from failure. Use it as a tool for growth. It's okay to fail. It is not failure. It is just another way of you knowing how that thing doesn't work. That is really about failure. There is no failure actually. In NLP, we say there is no failure, there is only feedback. You will receive feedback from that situation that seemingly hasn't gone the way you planned it to go. As a leader in resilience and adaptability, I would like to know, who is your shut up voice? Who do you listen to? Leadership is about you sitting under mentorship. Leadership is about people that can also speak into you and you can be adaptable. Somebody correcting you, somebody telling you, shut up. Who is your shut up voice? In life, if you don't have anybody who is a shut up voice, you won't actually know you are going wrong in a way. Let's talk about multiplying others in the next slide. How to multiply others, because when it comes to leadership, you have to know that you are only as good as what you have created out of you. A master leader builds other leaders, not just followers. If anything, for me, if you really want to thrive in my presence, if you really want me to love being around you, I need you to have some form of leadership. I don't like having followers around my life. I love having leaders. I love people can bring suggestions. Bringing suggestions is what keeps an organization healthy, is what keeps a relationship healthy. You cannot just say yes, yes, yes to everything. There is need to ask, what if we did this? How about if we do this? Can we do this? That is about leadership. If you are in my team, you listening to me, what I want to hear from you is suggestions. How can we improve PLD? What can we do to make PLD more of a network platform? What other things can we add? That is leadership. Leadership is about equipping, empowering, and releasing, not holding on to people. Do not hold on to people. That is why do not have that expectation that for what I have done, for what I have done for you, for this that I'm doing for you, I would like you to do the following for me also. As a leader, learn to empower, learn to equip people, freely give out your leadership, freely give out your instructions, and feel free to release. Other people may not be in your team forever. They may want to move on. They may want to do other things. So it is really up to you to arise as a leader where you are not holding on to people. Also, leadership is about success without succession is failure. Having that understanding that if you're successful and there is no succession plan, you haven't created systems, you haven't created taking over where you don't have to be there for things to move, you are failed as a leader. Leadership is about creating systems. Leadership is about allowing other people to take over. You've seen like Project Life Design. I'm not entirely the one who's running it. I'm actually invited. I'm invited to teach. I'm told what to do. That is leadership, where others can take the reins, where others can lead and bring new ideas. These ideas about evolving, these ideas about leadership mastery are ideas of people that have mentored. They've come up with ideas of how best we can give more to our people. It felt like people had plateaued. And that, for me, that is leadership. When you can have mentees coming to bring about suggestions. The next slide and final slide is your leadership legacy. Your leadership legacy. Your leadership legacy is the following questions. What will people remember you when your leadership ends? What will people remember you? Will they still cry for you? Will they still want you? Will they still crave for you? What do they remember you for? What is it that you did uniquely that can be attached to you? What is it that you have done that will cause people to know that someone was here and you leave a mark? You should aim for impact, transformation, and lasting influence. Build a legacy in people's lives. Be a joy to be around. Let people miss you when you are not there. And when you are present, be a team player. Bring suggestions and ideas that can grow a relationship, grow an organization. What value have you brought? wherever you are, ask yourself those questions. Legacy is not what you leave for people, but what you have lived in them. It is not about a car. Legacy is not leaving a car. Legacy is not leaving a house. Of course, those are equally important, but it is what you live in them. I call them intangible blessings. Intangible. Because those blessings are intrinsic values that you have left in people's lives, standards that you've left. You can ask any person in my team, PLD, when it comes to time mastery, whenever I'm going for work and I'm showing them what work is, I leave home at 6. That has been my standard. They all know. It is when now I'm stepping aside, allowing others to take over. I have released those standards. Even when they go wherever they go, there is a particular standard that I've planted in my children. I may not be there. All my children know that if you want to create a 13th month when others have got 12 months, wake up 2 hours before everybody. Do extra to be extraordinary. Create your own 13th month. Ensure that you do extra. In all my life, if you watch me, when it comes to anything that I'm doing, be it as a leader, I add extra to my leadership. Be it time, I ensure that if everybody else is arriving this time, I start off from home before there's traffic. The excuse of, oh, I'm late because of this, that is non-leadership excuse. Always have a solution. Do extra. This is why I do physical fitness. I'm a leader. At my age, some people don't do the things that I do. But at my age, I'm able to consistently show up because I want to do extra to become extraordinary. But also, what is leadership? If what you live is a distorted leadership where you have so grown in your career, but your home front is disgruntled. Leadership for me is living a legacy, living a holistic life, ensuring that you can prioritize, ensuring that you can give the very best to whichever department or whatever it is that has been presented to you. That is leadership. That is leadership. Every young person, young woman who wants to get married, when they sit under my leadership, I impact them. I leave something in them. Because if I've done it for 31 years in my marriage, I know that another person can if they can only study their spouse. I usually tell most of the people that I marry off, if to be an accountant, you put in so much, how much have you put in being a wife? How much have you put in being a husband? Leaving a legacy in different areas of your life. You cannot have one thing succeed and the other one failing. Leaving a legacy is about you being holistic. One thing may suffer. For example, I tell people that if you are having children, okay, if you are getting pregnant and going to labor ward, of course your career will suffer in a way. You may not find yourself going to improve your career and doing your master's or doctorate, because at that point you are so focused on raising your children, which is good. But then at some point you will need to switch and add value to this other aspect of your life. That is living a legacy, being holistic and ensuring that every department of your life you are paying attention. Do we have any more slides? I think we are done. The next things are now just assignments that you are going to do. Okay, so this is going to be sent to you. What 3 areas of personal discipline do I need to improve? Just write 3 things. What are you going to improve in your personal discipline? What are you going to improve? How I currently manage my time, emotions, and responsibilities. Rate yourself 0 to 5. Time. How are you doing with time? When it comes to emotions, when you hear somebody was talking about you, how can you rate your emotions? 0 to 5. When you're given responsibilities, this is what you've got to do. Are you full of excuses? Do you deliver? Give yourself 0 to 5. How do you rank there? Would I follow myself today? Why or why not? I'll add something. Would you marry you? If you were your spouse, would you marry you? Would you lead you? If you were really, really left alone, would you lead you? Are things that you do you just do them because other people are watching? Or you actually a man or woman of character and you can actually lead you even when other people are not there? List 3 daily habits you must develop to improve your leadership presence. Just 3 daily habits you're going to start doing. And please, when you answer like that, this is not theory. This is practical. For some of you, need to start going to the gym. You need to start joining us as we are exercising. You need to be present a little more, at home, in your kitchen. What is it? Which habits do you think you want to improve as a leader? As you are demonstrating what leadership is all about at home, leadership is all about at work, leadership is all about at church. What is it that you're going to start doing? Now, in order for you to really fulfill your leadership and extend it, to another level, you need to have values. What governs you? What is it that governs you? What is it? And please try to write them according to their importance. Like, for example, for me, the number one value in my leadership is spirituality. Everything that I do, it has to align first with my spirituality. My second value is purpose. Purpose. For me, purpose matters. My third is family. Okay. My third is so in that. So, what are your values? What are your values? And you need to know that at this particular moment, you need to know what it is that is going on. And values can change depending on what you are pursuing at that particular time. Values may change and changing for better. Thank you so much for listening. We shall meet on the group and have a lovely time. Shalom, shalom.